All right, so this is the podcast for the CNT 125 Risk Management, which is the ASA lab that we're going to be doing today. For those of you who would like to follow along, if you go into your Schoology class, and you will see under CCNA 2, under your assignments, go to your Chapter 7 assignments. I got a little bit bigger for you. You'll see I have the lecture part already listed down here for you in 3 parts here, and then the CNT 125 Risk Management Lab is here. The PDF that you're going to be using, for those of you going to follow along, is right here. Go ahead and download that or open it. I will have it printed out for everyone. It's a very simple lab. It's lengthy though. That's why we're going to do a podcast for you. It's about firewalls. This is the map that we're going to be referring to later on. Right now, you're going to be starting off by just plugging your PC into the school's network to make sure that you can ping Google. If you can't ping Google, then we're going to have to do some troubleshooting on that part. Then we're going to set up our network so that the port 0 on your firewall will then be plugged into the internet for the school. Port 1 in your firewall will be plugged into your Cisco switch. Make sure that your Cisco switch is cleared. There are no VLANs on it or no configs. And then your PC will then be plugged right into the Cisco switch. Starting off right now, my laptop should be plugged into the school's internet, so I should be able to ping google.com. And as you can see, I can. This should be working for all of us now. They had fixed that for us. Okay, if you cannot ping google.com, then at this point here, we would start to do the troubleshooting to make sure that you can ping Google. Right? But as we can see on that one there, I can. So now we're going to connect the firewall as shown in the map. So we're going to go set that up. So port 0 will plug into the school's network. Port 1, plug into the switch, and then your PC will plug into the switch. We're going to connect our console cable. First thing I want to do is I want to check to make sure my switch is cleared. Do a show VLAN, make sure there are no VLANs programmed. As you can see, on VLAN 1, which is the default VLAN, all 24 of my ports are in VLAN 1. So my switch is clean. We're going to plug into the firewall, hit our enter key. It should come up as Cisco ASA, and if it doesn't, and if it's prompting you to go into initial configuration dialog, then of course you want to select no and until you get this prompt here, which puts us in just regular user mode. We're going to type enable. It's going to ask us for a password. Just hit your enter key. There should be no password set at this point. Do a show version. And it will tell you what version of the iOS that you're currently running and your different ports as well. You'll notice that ports 1 through 11 or 1 through 8 are all just external Ethernet ports. Ethernet port 0 is your internal data port with its own network along with data 9 on this one here. But in the front of your ASA, you will only have 0 through 7. Then we're going to do a show running config. You'll notice that it's got an enable password that's encrypted, which is nothing actually. You'll also notice that it has an internal VLAN running, with an IP address of 192.168.1.1. There's nothing on VLAN 2. You'll also notice that it's already set up to do NAT right there. So the firewall comes to you out of the box already kind of pre-programmed. We're going to make sure that our ASA box is set back to factory defaults. So the first we're going to do is configure terminal. You can choose if you want to run anonymous error reporting to help improve the product. I'm just going to say no. And we're at the config prompts. Now we're going to do a configure. Factory -default, which is going to set this back to factory specs. Just in case that there was anything programmed onto this one, we're just going to undo all the changes. It's different on a firewall. It's not like doing erase config and then reload. So now we're going to do a host name. I'm going to call mine Bridgehouse Firewall. You can name yours whatever you want. Okay? The username, space, I'm going to create a user. Password is going to be just password. Okay? The username Mike, password, password. Now we're going to do passwd Cisco. What this is doing is setting the password Cisco for a user that might connect to the firewall via Telnet. Your enable password, make it class. Exit, and then we'll do a show run. So any changes that we had done would be showing up in there. You see we have a DHCP pool still sitting in there. Now we're going to take a look at our own PC. When my PC is plugged into the school, my IP address was 192.168.100.50. You'll see now that my IP address is 192.168.1.5. And if we were to take a look, the ASA is 1.1. It's running DHCP. Starting at 1.5 all the way to 1.254, we received 1.5, the first address off this ASA firewall. So you will plug in your IP address, you'll plug in in the lab, you'll do your subnet mask. Your default gateway is now the firewall. You'll find out that firewalls have the ability to do routing. Then there's a question there that says, is the firewall running DHCP? And I just showed you the DHCP pool. The firewall is also running NAT. Okay, right there. There's your NAT inside. So it's natting everything for us. Now, before we were able to ping google.com. As you can see, it translated the name of google.com to 172.217.11.4. But you also can see that we are no longer pinging. Why? Why are we not able to ping? Anyone? Firewall. At this point right now, the firewall is blocking ICMP packets, which is what it's supposed to do. So we're going to configure terminal, and we want to allow ICMP packets to come through. And this has to do with those access control lists that we were talking about. So we'll do access-list 100. Okay? By saying 100, that means we're going to be doing an extended access control list, which means we're going to be able to specify more than just a network or a host. So access list 100, permit ICMP any from any location to any, and then echo responses. We're going to do access dash list 100, permit ICMP any, and then echo reply. We also want to do an any, and then do a time exceeded. And then unreachable. So these are what we're allowing. What we're saying here is we're going to allow ICMP to go through, but we're also going to allow all the other messages, the successful messages, the unreachable messages, the time exceeded messages, even the errors are allowed to be reported back into the firewall. So we had to be pretty specific. On this. Now, if you remember from our lessons, access lists are great, but we also have to apply an access list. And we use the access group command. The number that was our access list, okay? We're going to go have it coming in, interface, outside. And then exit. Do our show run again. And you can see our access list is sitting right there. Okay. And then here you can see that we've applied it on the outside interface in the direction of in. You see that right there. Now, the question is, can we ping Google? Simple, right? And we should also be able to do a trace route. and you can see all the different hops. The next thing we're going to be setting up here is we're going to, in the firewall's AC, now with the firewall ACL in place, we're going to run a little test on our we're running this test on the PC, but then we're going to have to open up a new PuTTY session or a new TerraTerm session, and we're going to put we're going to run a Telnet session to what's called telehack.com. So let's see if we can get that to work. Didn't want that to happen. All right, so now our next step is we're going to TerraTerm a new session. Okay, so we can just open up a new one. We can still keep the other one open. We're going to do Telnet, which is port 23, into telehack.com. This is pretty cool. So you see we're in. And then we're going to use the Star Wars command. And we can actually watch the Star Wars movie on telehack.com. Yes, somebody who had a lot of time in their hand to do all this in ASCII art. Pardon me? Yeah, this is actually live right now. So it says go ahead and let this run for a minute or two and then find out what your result is. It's kind of funny. I know, right? It's like you just feel as though you have to watch the whole thing. It's like so time consuming that someone actually did this. I don't think I've ever gone further than where we are right now, so I don't really know if it's the entire movie or not, but it is wicked cool. That's Princess Leia, by the way. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're our only hope. Alright, so after you've seen enough, then you're going to do a Control-C, which will get you out of the Star Wars show. Okay. Then the question is, we're going to go ahead and close out this PuTTY. So then we're going to add an ACL to change how the firewall deals with Telnet. Okay, because right now we're Telnetting. Let's go ahead and get out of that. We'll disconnect that one. Come back into here. And then we're going to do access. We've already done access list 100, so now we're going to do access list 101. We're going to deny TCP from any to any, anything equal EQ to Telnet. Then, oh, I forgot the config T. Hang on. So remember, just like when we discussed the other day, all right, so we put our deny statement in, then we had to choose permit, because if we didn't put the permit statement afterwards, what would we have had? An implicit deny, correct. We would have had an implicit deny. After we write the access list, what must we do next? Apply it to an interface. So now we're going to do access group 101 in interface inside. Exit out of here. If you do a show run, you will see our new access list posted. Okay, so there's 101 right here. And then there you can see that we put it on the inside interface, not the outside, but the inside interface, because the other one was our ping. Right. So now we're going to try it again. Let's go to the with that in place. We're going to do a new connection. We're going to telnet over to telehack. Okay. And you can see the connection has been refused. So this would be something you would want to have, on your network, because any usernames or passwords or any criteria sent through Telnet is in plain text. So we don't want to have Telnet running on these machines. Okay? So we couldn't get to telehack.com. Okay. So that one worked for us. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to install an FTP client on our machines. Okay, so the next protocol that we're going to test in the firewall is FTP. The first thing we want to do is we want to install the client, an FTP client. So we're going to go ahead, open up a browser. Open up a new tab here. And we're going to go to win.scp.net. You got to find home row. We're going to go ahead and hit the download link. Make sure we're getting the right download link and not because that would have been an advertisement. Now we're going to have I'm going to go through and go ahead and install this client here. Okay, do the typical installation. And okay, select the installation package, save your downloads folder, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Okay, so then on your test PC, launch the Win SCP application and do the following test functions. So let's go back to here. For the protocol, you're going to choose FTP. The host name is test.rebex.net. Username is demo. And the password is password. Go ahead and choose login. As you can see, we have in the remote session, this is my stuff over here, and this is our remote over here. In the right window, you want to open the pub directory. And then you want to open the example directory. and view the files available for download via the FTP protocol. No need to download anything at this point. We can go ahead and close out of this Win SCP session. Now we're going to add an ACL now to change how the firewall deals with our FTP traffic. So we're going to config terminal. And we're going to do no access list 101 permit IP any. Then we're going to do an access dash list 101 deny TCP any equal to FTP. Do the same thing. We're also going to do FTP data because if you remember, FTP is port 20 and 21. And now we want to access permit everybody after this. Didn't like something. Oh. Okay, so now we're in there. Go ahead and type exit. Do a show running config. And you saw our new access 101 still applied to the interface. We just edited the ACL, and there it is with our FTP and RTP data. And we're going to go back and we're going to launch. And we're going to go back and we're going to launch the Win SCP. Protocol is going to be FTP. Host name again is going to be test.rebex.net. Demo and password. Go ahead and log in. As you can see, we now just stopped FTP from connecting through the firewall. Once again, FTP is very similar to Telnet in that all usernames and passwords are sent in plain text. Okay, we can go ahead and close out of this. That didn't do any good, right? So now we're going to do a show run on our firewall. And we're going to open up a notepad file. We're going to highlight our configuration. And we're going to paste it into Notepad. So here's my Notepad. Back to here. We do a show run. We're going to select with our mouse. Copy that to our clipboard. Paste it into here. All right. and then that will be put into D2L. So let's just save this as our podcast part 1. And then we'll create another video for the Nmap section next. Let's save this first. This will be my ASA. We'll save that later for upload.